We are back with the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC. Show is being brought to you by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, where Walmart is next door to us, Fearless Social, and also Poplar Bluff Drywall. And remember, for everything Screen Team, go to our website at screenteampb.com. You can check out our latest reviews on there. You can check out our links to our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. You can also check out all of our reviewers as well. Matt's on there. He's got all his favorite films on there, which are pretty much Hitchcock films. So not much of a surprise there. But go to screenteampb.com. Check it out for yourself 24/7. Our final film today is called The Shining. And this one was released back in 1980. It's a film that was directed by Stanley Kubrick. And this is based on the novel of Stephen King back from, I think, 1977. This film is considered one of the greatest horror films of all time. Matt, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, I didn't like it that much.
I figured as much.
No, I'm kidding. This is one of my favorites, too. Years back, when I first joined the Screen Team, we did like a top 10 Halloween movies. Mm-hmm. And both Psycho and The Shining were in my top 5, easily. This is another psychological thriller, and another strong performance from Jack Nicholson. Really, his most iconic. You know, the line, "Here's Johnny," that's probably his most notable line. And it's just a tour de force in, I think, Stanley Kubrick and a lot of his idiosyncrasies as a director. And one of the interesting aspects of this movie that we love dissecting are all the different theories behind what it means. And how the movie ends up, basically. Is it mostly a ghost story? Is it more psychological? Jack Nicholson's character going insane from cabin fever and being cooped up and just, having an alcohol problem. Or, is there supernatural that's playing into that? And there's a lot of both that go into it. And it's really, really enjoyable.
Jenna, do you agree with that? Is this an enjoyable movie?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think my favorite part not only is, trying to figure out what's actually going on, but picking up all the little foreshadowing that they have going on throughout the movie. Like at one point, Shelley
Duvall.
Okay. Close enough. Anyways, she
Cheers. Yeah.
Her character at one point is in the kitchen getting dinner ready, and she has a TV going, and it's a news report talking about wife and husband out hunting and how the wife goes missing, and they're not really sure if there's foul play involved, and they can't check it out because the snowstorm's coming.
Right.
So, that's a little bit of foreshadowing of what's to come and different things like that.
And the way they play with that particular foreshadowing, it could have been so on the nose, but it was in the background. They downplayed it so well. If you're paying attention, there's a lot of foreshadowing. I read that a lot of, it's based on an Indian burial ground, like a lot of the great horror movies from the 1980s, like Poltergeist are. And so a lot of people think, one of the theories is that the malevolent forces that were upset that their grounds, their remains were disturbed, are haunting this place and anyone that inhabits it. And they said that a lot of the artifacts and decorations throughout the Overlook Hotel are Native American, and they symbolize misfortune. So another piece of foreshadowing.
It's amazing how detailed Kubrick is, even though we may not be. I mean, he is. He wants to make sure every little thing that you see, there's some sort of significance or meaning to it, which is pretty amazing. Matt, I want to draw on your... I want to expand on your conversation about Jack Nicholson. He was amazing in this film.
Yes.
Actually, all the actors were amazing.
It's a limited cast.
Yeah, it is.
But they all knock it out of the park.
Shelley Duvall didn't get a lot of credit when this film came out. No. She got nominated for a Razzie Award, which is basically the opposite of the Oscars.
Yeah, worst actress. And I couldn't think that's further from the truth. I thought she was terrific.
Yeah. She was terrific, man. She was amazing in this film. The young boy, Danny Lloyd, he was amazing.
Scatman Crothers.
I'm trying to remember the scene. There was a scene where Danny's envisioning something that's going on in the hotel, and he's like holding himself, and he's just shaking. And I mean, you can really see that he has an issue going on there. I mean, it's just amazing the acting performance that he put on in this film. And I read that Kubrick kind of set a white light to Danny, saying it wasn't a horror film; it was like a drama film.
Yeah. Well, he was only 5 years old, so to be in that type of horror movie, really isn't good for a 5-year-old.
Of
but
course, yeah.
at the same time, his acting is so amazing that you would think that he knew it was a horror movie.
Yeah, like he didn't know until he was like 18 or 19 when he finally got to see the cut that it was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
what was I in?
Yeah, and he said it wasn't really that scary to him because he was on the inside with everything.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to note that Kubrick he handled this kid with kid gloves, right? He was the anti-Kubrick because he was so rough on Shelley Long, and I think he was pretty notorious for being rough on actors, much like Hitchcock was.
Yeah. This is considered one of the greatest horror films of all time, pretty much to everybody except for Stephen King.
He hated it because he
Why?
didn't think it was faithful to his novel.
Have you guys read the book at all?
We haven't.
Okay. I guess I was just kind of curious on what he thought wasn't scary or what wasn't,
He said that it was the wrong guy, Jack Nicholson, for the part. Not because he's not a phenomenal actor, but because he had just seen him in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
He already has that crazy look to him.
And it was about the slow
Absolutely.
descent into madness in the novel. It was a tragic story, and that heightened the sense of fear and dread throughout the book. As you have a normal man, a loving father and husband, and his slow descent into being essentially an attempted murderer.
I love that scene where Nicholson is in the bar and he's talking with the ghost bartender, and he's like, Lloyd, I've got a 20 and a 10 in my pocket. Let's get a bottle of bourbon out here,
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait, I don't have a 20. Your credit's good here.
That's right.
I really liked with that scene how, he walks in and nobody's there, all the lights are off, and all of a sudden it shows him talking to the ghost bartender, and all the lights are on, the candles are lit on the table, everything.
Yeah.
And then
More
Shelley's
detail.
character comes in, and all of a sudden everything's out again.
Right.
Yeah, and that was another interesting point, was anytime Shelley Duvall's character came on screen, the tension was kind of broken. In a way. In a way. The tension that was building, and you could almost feel Nicholson's character and the hotel almost getting upset with Shelley Duvall because she was upsetting his possession, his corruption.
Yeah,
The
that's a
music
good
added
point.
to it, because with Nicholson, anyways, sorry, but with his scenes, the music was really building up, and you could just feel the tension, even in yourself. You could feel everything getting tense, and then all of a sudden Shelley would walk in, and the music would almost quiet down, almost stop completely, and it was just like a sense of relief going through.
It's amazing how the music can add that extra elements of fear and horror to films.
Yeah, all three of the films we reviewed today have had excellent music, and it's played an integral part to it. And it really is, music is very important to horror. Halloween, I think, tested negatively with test audiences before it was released, before it had its official score, and then afterwards it became a classic, an all-time classic. And it was the same way with this. The Shining its music is much more ambient. It's not very melodic like Psycho's or Beetlejuice's were, but it fits just as well as those scores did to those movies.
Yeah, it's I've seen this movie several times, but this was the first time I've actually seen it from start to finish. I've always missed like the first 10 minutes of Jack Nicholson getting the job to go to the hotel, but even from the very beginning, you have a feeling of uneasiness.
Yes, especially on the drive to the hotel.
You've got, even with the opening credits,
Yeah.
you've got this just creepy music, and you've got this big cinematic, landscape, and you've got, the Kroll scrolling up, and just from the very beginning, you're feeling uneasy about what's going on here. And I hadn't noticed that before because I've always missed, the first 10 minutes of this film, but from start to finish, man, you are scared. You are scared.
And it's a very disturbing film too. This isn't like a fun, scary movie like Halloween or like a lot of other ones. This,
Right.
And it's enjoyable to analyze it and to watch it, but this isn't, like a fun popcorn movie.
Hey,
Yeah, definitely not kid appropriate.
No.
Exactly. Guys, this Halloween show was amazing. It was a lot of fun. I want to get you guys back on the show very, very soon. I was thinking, I know you guys are both dog lovers. You guys love dogs, right? I think we should do a dog-themed screen team with your favorite movies about dogs.
That'd be
Excellent.
fun.
All right, so we can do where the red fern grows and Old Yeller and all the happy ending movies and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I love the looks. I love the looks, man. It's good stuff. Coming up next week, we're going to have Laura and Sabrina on the Screen Team, and we're actually going to have a dog flick we're going to be reviewing. It's called Max. Don't know much about it, but we're going to find out next weekend whether it's one to see or one to miss. We're also going to review Nanny McPhee, and we're going to review the new Pan movie starring Hugh Jackman. That's coming your way next Saturday at 6 p.m. For Jenna, Matt, and Chris, we are the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC.